Welcome for today's session, students. In the previous class, we have seen the pre-processing techniques, why data quality is required. In that one, we have seen accuracy, completeness, consistency, timeliness, believability, and interpretability. And we also crossed what are the major tasks in data pre-processing. We have seen the different things of data cleaning, data integration, data reduction, data transformation, and data discretizations. And we have come under the data cleaning procedures and how to do it, and what are the algorithms methods have been available, and how to overcome the incomplete missing data, and how to handle the missing data, and what is a noisy data, how to handle the noisy data. And this was the previous informations we have seen in the last class. Now we will come to data cleaning as a process. Now we have seen what is data cleaning. So what are the drawbacks in that? What do you mean by inconsistency value or missing value or noisy value? How to overcome everything we have come in here data cleaning previously. Okay, now what is the process required to overcome this drawbacks? First is a data discrepancy detection. Use a metadata. If the data is not been familiar with how to use or something, that already we have seen metadata is nothing but data about the data. What is this data? How to use this data? What is the domain of this data? Like that, everything about the data has to be kept in a proper place. That is called as a metadata. That is a domain, range, dependency, distributions of the data. Everything has to be finalized. And next, check the field overloading. Suppose if any data is there, what is the range for that data? So everything has to be taken into account. So everything has to be keep it in process so that they can understand. Next one is a check uniqueness rules. A consecutive rule and the null val. That's what we have seen. If any data is not requirements, somebody will be putting dash and somebody will be putting zero and somebody will be putting null. So in that case, it has to be given properly how the data value has to be stored. So that is a globally everybody should understand, like null value, because already we have seen zero is not equal to null value. So this scenarios has to be taken into care. Use a commercial tools. So suppose if there is large number of data are there, it is very difficult to handle by humans. So we are going for a tools. Okay, so here what happened? What we already have seen Oracle, IBM, MySQL, so many things were available. So now data scrubbing, it's use a simple domain knowledge. Example, a postal code or a spell check, it can be done automatically so that the error can be rectified to detect errors and make corrections. Instead of doing manually one by one, it can be used for a tools. So that tools will be checking for the example as a postal code and a spell checks, etc. And next one is a data auditing. But by analyzing data to discover rules and relationships to detect the violators. So if any data has to be related, correlated, associated, either auditing can be done so that they can find anything is missing or can be cancelled due to any of the reasons. So like that we can make a auditing and you can check the data. So this is the place where you can go for the corrections. And next one is a data migration and integrations. See, this data migrations, we told all the data will be kept in one place. So we call it as a data lake also. What do you mean by data lake? Means the data wherever it is coming, it will be collected in one place. So this data source may be different place. That is, it can be from taken a flat files, or it can be taken from any of a database, or it can be taken from the online any of a transactions, like that in different modes, files, in any way it can be taken. So such type of data has to be cleaned up and it has to be kept in a proper place for analysis. That's what we have seen in the introduction part itself. So here also tools are available. What they will be doing, it means they will be taking the data, okay, from the different source, and they will be transferring the data, that is extracting the data after a cleaning, and they will be extraction, the loading, transformation and loading. Some tools will be first to take the extraction, and they'll be doing loading, and they'll be doing transformation. Some tools will be first extraction, and they'll be transformation, and they'll be loading. That also will be done. So we have seen, suppose for example, data has been taken from any of the applications, or you can call it as OLTP, online transaction processing. So here also the data might be taken, it will be given to ETL tool, which will allow the user to specify the transformations through a graphical user interface. From there, the data will be placed in OLAP, that is a data warehousing, where they can be used for taking a decision. So this data warehousing is also called as online analytical processing or decision support system. So this tool will be make you to organize the data in a clean format. So the tools are available for this ETL. So we are calling it ETL process, that is extraction, transformation, and loading. Okay. After that, we are going for the integrations of a two process, that is iterative and interactive. The meaning is each and every time we have to refine our data and we have to store it. So this has to be happen n number of times till you feel your data has been precious. So this is the way why we are going for the process. So data cleaning processes, first we have to data discrepancy detection, how the data has to be corrected, and how the tools are useful for migrating from the source to the destination, and how it has been refined through integrations with iterative and interactive. Okay. Next, so far we have seen what is data pre-processing and overview, and what is the quality, why it is required, and what are the major tasks in data processing, and we have seen the data cleaning. Now we'll see what is data integration. Okay. Now if you see in the data integration, we have already seen the data has been collected from multiple sources. So it combines the data from multiple sources into a coherent store. So it will be placed in a one particular place. And next one is a schema integrations. Already we have seen in the first two units, you may come across the snow schema, starflex schema, so that you might be familiar with that. So that is your integrations between the two different type of tables. And already I have seen your primary key and your secondary key in your database concept. So the customer ID will be related to a B customer ID, how we are integrating the two tables. That is integrated metadata from different sources, because already we have seen this metadata will be having all the informations about the data. So with that help of the data, we can find what is the source, how it has been linked, so what are the other features involved in this particular data. So everything will be helpful with the integrations with the metadata. And entity identification problems. Entity real world entities from multiple data sources. Example, this some people will be writing their name as a Bill Clinton, or somebody will be writing as a William Clinton. Suppose when you are giving some places for identity, you may give the username, and sorry, your USN number. In some places you may be given your name of you. Some places will be giving user USN. So this is all the place where there will be a entity identification problems are there. So it has to be clearly identified before you are going for integrations. Otherwise, you will be having a duplicate values. And next one is detecting and resolving data value conflicts. For the real world entity, attributes value from different sources are different. That's what already we have seen. When a date of birth is there, different type of format will be given. So we have to find out the conflicts in that one, and you have to take the correct exact data. And next one is a possible reasons. Different representations are different scales. Example, metrics are British units. So already we have seen that metrics value might be different with different places. So when they are taking a metadata, that time itself you should give a possible reason for different representations or different scales, ranging from 0 to 1 or 1 to 0, in which scale you are referring or which metrics you are going to refer it. So this also we have to taken into account. Next one is handling the redundancy in data integrations. So redundancy may also be happen. So that will be, we have seen how to overcome is also by normalization concept. We know the concept of redundancy, how to clear it. Now we'll see how to handle while in data integration. Redundant data occurs when integrations of a multiple databases. Some might be an object identification. The same attribute or object may have different names in different database. Suppose pet names will be given, then your original names will be in there in different place. And derivable data. One attribute may be derived attribute in another table. Example, annual revenue will be taken from the daily basis salary. So that is derived. That can also be affecting your redundancy. Redundancy attributes may be able to detected by correlation analysis and covariance analysis. So already we have seen this data mining is an integrated domain with the statistics and machine learning and other disciplinary things, which is helpful for you to detect the values. So the main thing is in statistics is very famous thing is correlation analysis and covariance analysis, which is going to help you for the redundant attributes. So this careful integrations of the data from multiple sources may help to reduce or avoid the redundancy and inconsistency and improve the mining speed and quality. So careful integrations of the data from multiple sources may be help to reduce or avoid redundancies and inconsistencies and improve your mining speed and quality. Next one is correlation analysis for the nominal data. How to find out is the main formula is a chi-square test. The chi-square test's formula is observed value minus expected value the whole square divided by expected value. The larger the chi-square value, the more likely the variables are related. So it depends upon the chi-square value, we can find the correlations between the variables. The cells that contribute the most chi-square value are those whose actual count is very different from the expected count. Okay, correlation does not imply causality. That is, number of hospitals and number of car theft in a city are correlated. That means also will be given here values. Both are causally linked to the third variable population. So like that, in which scenario it has been correlated, you have to find out. Next one here, chi-square calculation. For example, how we will be doing is, see for example, the person playing chess, it has been given, not playing chess, it has been given. So we have to find out the sum of the rows, and like science fiction, not like the science fiction, and some of the columns, whichever it is taken, it has to be given. So how to calculate this chi-square calculation numbers in parentheses or expected counts calculated based on the data distributions in two categories. Already we know the formula is observed minus expected the whole square divided by summation of the expected things. So by applying the formula, we have find out the values. 250, that is here chess they play chess and they will not play the chess, like that. The expected value, that is science fiction and not like a science fiction, that is 250 and minus 90, which has been calculated, and find out the value here. It shows that like science fiction and play chess are correlated in the group. So based on the dependency value, we have find out. And if you take it as a correlation analysis based on numerical data, the correlation coefficient, also called as Pearson product moment coefficients, where the value is sigma a minus a bar into b minus b bar divided by n minus 1 into standard deviation of a into standard deviation of b minus sigma ab minus n of a bar b bar divided by n minus 1 into sigma a into sigma b. So this is a very easiest formula, which you have to merely substitute the value and you have to verify it. That's all. If you see the AB is greater than 0, then A and B are positively correlated, and A's value increases as B's value. The higher, the stronger correlations. If AB analysis is equal to 0, it is independent. If it is less than 0, it is negatively correlated. So every values will be given. Just we have to substitute the values in the given formula and find out the value. So based on the value, we have find out whether it is an independent or negatively correlated or strongly correlated. It depends upon, we can find out. See, visually evaluation correlations also will be given it. The scattered plot showing the similarity from minus to 1. So this is how they are interrelated, how the values of a correlation has been densed. This, like that we can also visualize in the similarity fashion. So if something is going out linear, so that means it will not be in a correlated way. Okay, then correlated viewed as a linear relationship. See, correlations measures the linear relationship between the objects. To compute the correlation, we standardize the data objects A and B, then take their dot product. That is, first if we have to take the mean value and standard deviation, based on that you can make a correlations when the values are not given in a proper or with a missing value. So this a covariance is a numeric data which is directly substituted. So what is the value for finding the positive covariance and negative covariance and independent covariance? Already we have seen, if it is greater than 0, it can be treated as both the tends to be larger than their expected values. If it is less than 0, then it is likely to be smaller than its expected value. Independence, if it is equal to each and every value is independent to one another. Okay. For example, they have given the values. See here, the values in the tabular column has been given. Suppose two stocks A and B have the following values in 1 week. 2, 5, 3, 8, 5, 10, 4, 11 and 6, 14. If the stocks are affected by the same industry trends, will their price rise or fall down? So expected value of A, just we can go 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 6 divided by 5, take the mean value, and similarly for the B, 5 plus 8 plus 10 plus 11 plus 14 divided by, you are getting 9.6. So the variance formula, you apply it, just multiply and see the with the variance value, you are getting 4. Thus AB rise together since it's greater than 0. So then it can be have the value. So the next one, we are coming for the data reduction.